Tonia here, your host of the Alchemy of Me, where we navigate the anatomy of humanity through the lens of science and spirituality. Let's unearth the layers and unravel the systems in place that dim who we are and how we live and experience life. On this journey together, we'll weave in an eclectic blend of mind, body, energy medicine, concepts, tools, and practices that'll nourish the seeds, the fire, that gold of intelligence that is you. This is an opportunity, your opportunity to reclaim, to rediscover, to transform, to alchemize you. The Alchemy of Me show starts now.
Hello, Tonia here, your host of the Alchemy of Me, where we explore the anatomy of humanity through the lens of science and spirituality. And I am so pumped today to have my dear friend, my dear soul sister with me. And I'm just gonna right out of the gate just let you know that this might be our shortest conversation ever. Which is why Jess will be with again on the next show, because once we start going, it's really we kind of have this amazing weaving that happens and that's guided, and we don't know where it's going to end. So we kind of created this sacred container, this space, and I'm just super excited. So just to give you a little background on Miss Jessica, she is a sanctioned teacher by Don Oscar Mira Casada, co-founder of the Heart of the Healer Shamanic Mystery School. This is a lineage under which Jessica is a wisdom keeper for the Pachacuti Mesa tradition, cross-cultural shamanic arts for personal and planetary renewal. Jess also carries the legacy and the spirit of her late teacher, Keith Wilson. He's the founder of Keith's Cacao, and through her communion with and service to the sacred plant medicine of cacao, deeply opportunities through energetic expansion, or I guess deeply committed to the practice of Aini, or sacred reciprocity and balance. Jessica is dedicated to providing opportunities for energetic expansion through ceremony, ritual, creative expression, shamanic lineage teachings, and hermetic wisdom. From communions with the spirit of cacao and shamanic journeying to workshops and apprenticeships, Jessica serves as a soul journey partner, empowering individuals to align with source and their highest destiny. I probably don't need to be reading on screen. Let's just put that out there, because the rest we'll just let it flow. Jess, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. Is there anything else you would like to add to share with those that are with us here today?
Thank you, Tonia. I just am so happy to be here with you and to share in this amazing opportunity to give expression to what's in our hearts and what is present at this moment in time. And I know that our guides and angels, everyone of the unseen realms has been waiting for this very beautiful moment of us dreaming together. And so I'm just grateful that the time is now and that you've so graciously invited me to be on your show. And yes, I'm glad you did the disclaimer as well. We're not sure where all this train will be going, but
no. Yeah. So I just kind of highlighting that. So I just shared with Jessica just a couple minutes ago before we started the book that she actually introduced me to earlier this week landed on my doorstep this morning. And so naturally I opened it up and I felt called to just share an excerpt from the first page that I got through. And it's actually, the book is titled Revelations of the Aramaic Jesus, by author Neil Douglas Klotz. And I'm just going to share this and then I will not read anymore, I promise. So reader beware. Though this book is brief, it contains the seed of a revolution. I do not think history has proven me mistaken. To challenge language is revolutionary, for language is the basis of so much communication and worldview. We not only use language to converse with one another, but to dream in and even to talk to ourselves. And so I want to just bring that up and highlight that as we start our conversation and we start our discussion. There's so much to this, words have so much power and so much meaning, and, thoughts and our belief systems and our structures and really everything that comes in, and it plays into how we see the world and how we see each other, how we see ourselves, and how we see what we believe. And so I guess my ask for this is just to be open to just to allowing for to allow what comes in, and allow it to be a curiosity, and just to see where the weaving goes. And so with that, my dear Jessica, I'm curious, can we just start out? There's a lot here with just the title, to becoming one, aligning with the power of the center to presence with the sacred. So the sacred, can we start there? What is the sacred? What lens are we looking through here with the sacred?
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this in. This is I feel like it's a good place to start. And I think the most visceral way that we can get in touch with something that is ineffable, that is that unseen element, is by just placing your hand over your heart and to speak to things that we do not bring in with our immediate five senses, to start to explore, to have that curiosity that you're speaking about. It's interesting because there's so much that can take us away from focusing on that which is eternal and that which is, I would say, reality. And it's as simple as placing one's hand over one's heart and sensing into that heartbeat, your heartbeat, our heartbeat. This is a unifying element. It's something that we can bring in with our physical senses of touch and perhaps even sound, I guess, if it was really quiet. But when we're going to talk about the sacred, I believe this is a space of that which is really unknowable. However, it is something that we have to come into presence with. And so again, I'm just going to direct us to our heart, because our hearts are the portal. It's a direct portal. It's a direct connection to the divine, to the sacred, to that truth and beauty that is undeniable and that is part of all one. Yes, I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Can you maybe just tell us a little bit about kind of your journey, how you got to this place? If you're open to sharing.
Sure. Yeah, I can definitely do that, and I want to keep it in a
container,
in a container. But I guess what would be I think most relevant, if you I think we're probably going to have different threads of this weaving through. But I was raised, I guess you would say I was raised Catholic. I attended church mostly by myself. So from a young age, my relationship with God was a very personal one, though it was definitely within the framework of an organized religion. And my faith and my relationship with God has been one that has provided me with a deep support and inner guidance system through my whole life. That being said, I do feel that within the parameters of the faith as it was presented to me through culture and the parameters of religion, I, in my adult years, found to start having more deep curiosities and questionings. Like, does God want me to be happy? Does God want me to be happy in a marriage? Does God want me? These types of deeper dives into really looking at how am I feeling inside and what is the experience that I'm having and what is this connection with God? And I think that in our society, there is so much focus on something outside of us that is going to make us happy, that's going to make us feel peaceful, that's going to help bring us a sense of harmony, that is going to bring us a sense of fulfillment. All of these things, we, from a very young age, from the very stories that we're told as we're tucked into bed, all of the images and the words and the stories have us looking for truly love outside of ourselves. And so in my adult years, when I started to have these deeper questionings, and really trying to understand myself and this kind of search for love, this was really a love that only I was going to be able to feel in and through this inner union with God within myself. And that's really where, over the last few years, really a deep dive into that, that harmonization and that inner union through a lot of work, which I'm sure there are many shows that we could talk about with all of that.
I'm sure we will.
Well, sometime we will. But for me, truly, the greatest love that I have ever known and felt, I do feel now, and that is through my very close and deep and intimate connection with God. And I know that word may not resonate with some people, and it's really whatever that divine ultimate truth, ultimate source of unconditional, eternal, infinite love, God, goddess, creator, creatrix, whatever that is for you. But for me, that is absolutely number one in my life. And in leaning more and more into that and opening myself to that and trusting that, that has just opened everything for me. So I hope that answered the question.
No, it was beautiful. That was beautiful. And it's that there is that you're saying, like, it's everything to you, that relationship. And it kind of colors how we have our relationship with ourselves, how we see ourselves, how we see others. And then it reminds me, a little bit, I won't go into, how I got to where I am right now, because we don't have time for that, maybe in another day.
Yes.
But I will say, for me, it's almost like being in this dark, heavy place where you can feel like you're all alone, and then realizing that you're not all alone. Like, we are all here together. We are all one. And there's just this beautiful opening and this beautiful light and this beautiful energy that comes with that, like, there are no words to describe it, really. And so saying God, saying spirit, it doesn't matter. It's a feeling, right? It's like how we feel, how we connect to how we feel inside, and how that connects with everything else. So I'm going to put a pin in that, because we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I want to, I'll save that for when we come back. But is there anything, can you share, Jess, before we take a break, can you let people know, those that are here in the physical world, how to get a hold of you?
Yes. So you can send me an email, jessica@cacaomoonalign.com. You can go to my website, which is not 100% active, but it is there. It's cacaomoonalign.com. You can also check me out on Instagram. It's believe.lead.empower.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll be right back. Hello. Welcome back. I am Tonia, your host of the Alchemy of Me, and I am again here with dear Jessica, and we are going to just dive right back in. where we left off. And I'm wanting to kind of continue on this thread that we're on and ask you this question, Jessica. So what is the center? So when we're talking about the center, where is it? What is it?
It's a very good question. I think because we're talking ultimately about something that is mostly intangible to our five senses and perhaps beyond beyond the grasp of human understanding. Again, it's something that's in the realm of perceiving. I think it's sometimes helpful just to come to some references like a two-dimensional circle, and thinking of a two-dimensional circle that we can draw on a piece of paper and then putting a point in the middle of the center. And even just starting from there. And I just want to bring in this quotation. I have not been able to find any attribution for this quotation. I think that many people will recognize it, but it is, God is an infinite circle whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. And I thought that might be just to kind of bring that in again with this visual. So with a two-dimensional circle with a point in the middle, using that as kind of a guide point for the center. And that's actually a symbol for the sun in astrology. It's also a symbol for gold in alchemy. It's also a hieroglyph for Ra, the Egyptian deity of the sun. And when we can use this this visual and think of the eternal divine essence, that it as that being the center, and think about where we are in relationship to the center. And I think that by virtue of, or maybe perhaps not by virtue of, so many factors, including our own beliefs and our thoughts, and just not even that those don't just come into being in a vacuum. We are born into cultures and into different societies, and these all have a set of beliefs and ideologies and paradigms that really, unless we quite vigorously shrug them off, those get layered upon us.
Whether we're aware of it or not, right? I mean,
yes. In addition to the ones that we are kind of draped with when we come in this incarnation, we're also carrying these layers upon layers from our ancestors, and that's another conversation. But
I should just start taking notes of all the different topics we're going to cover in the future.
Yes, 100%. So these beliefs that we have and these thoughts that we have, both layered upon and brought in with us, and those that we consume, whether consciously or unconsciously, they're all informing our actions, and those inform our customs and the way that we live. And so it's, they become, again, just more and more layers. We can think of them as layers, or we can also think of them as these kind of pressures and forces that with these layers, we're coming further and further away from the center, our true essence. And so, in a way, we've become the culture that overculture has created, where we've become marginalized. We're like out here in the periphery, so far away from our eternal divine essence and the truth of who we are and really and what we are. And so this practice of, even just why I really wanted to, when you asked like what would you like to talk about, I just felt like this was the place to begin, because if we can start to flex our muscle of awareness and and start to bring our awareness and our consciousness into that which perhaps is neglected because of all of the everything around us, all of the millions of distractions of what this day is in our to-do list and what we're supposed to be doing next, and all of our plans, all of the plans that we make, and all of these feeble efforts for control, and all of this is really this busyness and this frenetic energy that is just so far away from perhaps really why we are here. And maybe that isn't to do, it's to be. And it's by being and bringing our awareness to the center that we can bring our attention to the seeds of the fruit that are in the center of us. This fruit, these seeds are perhaps dormant, but they're carrying within them that divine blueprint for the fruit that we are here, each of us, to bear into this time space now.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Thank you for sharing. There's so much there. I feel like I could go 100 different directions. What's coming up for me though too is the kind of we sometimes blame it on others. We blame others for or we see it in others, and it's this bristly experience where you're not quite sure why, but it's there. The dissonance that happens when you're not vibing. I mean, there's so many ways you can say this. And it just reminded me of, I can't even remember the conversation or the question that happened for me that kind of cracked me open though. I was sitting in a room at my old job. We were it was a leadership training, and there was a cohort of 4 of us. And, for many years, I put on all these layers of what should I look like in this role where I'm managing these projects, these, where I'm this leader in this role that doesn't align with me, with my center. I remember the first thing I did in 2008 when I started that job was I took out my nose ring, because that to me, even though that felt so aligned with who I was like, this doesn't align with me as a corporate professional. So I had to take it out. And that was like the first thing that I noticed I did to myself to make myself feel like I fit that role, right? 13 years later, I'm in this room with my cohort, coming back around here, and this woman asked a question. I don't remember the question, but all of a sudden I just lost it. I just started bawling. And I just said, I'm like, I don't even know why I'm here anymore. Like, I don't even know who I am anymore. And I saw the look of the other 3 individuals that were, my cohort. They looked at me like, holy shit, did she just do that? This woman is evaluating whether or not we're going to be a good leader in this company. She just lost it. She lost it. But then what was beautiful was this opening, right? From there, the other 3 shared their own experience in this opening. And I got to be honest, I don't think I had cried in probably 15 years until that was my cracking opening. That was like the thread that was being pulled and then after that, like there's obviously no turning back, because it felt so good to stop pretending to be somebody I wasn't, and to stop blaming others for the relationship I had with myself. Like, yeah. So I'll just stop right there. But I just wanted to share that for kind of the relatability piece for anybody else that's in a place where maybe they have feel like they're so far off track from where they're at. And the most beautiful expression for each of us, even though it's so freaking scary, is your most authentic self, like that who you are, that beautiful expression of you. that's what we're looking for. That's what we want.
Absolutely. I love what you shared. And I think that moment that you're speaking to of that vulnerability, and then in you allowing for that vulnerability in yourself, and maybe you might say that was you cracked open, so maybe that wasn't like your choice, but it did happen and you were there with it. And that moment of vulnerability, it's so beautiful to see how that brought that harmonic resonance back within you, because you're aligned with your most authentic self in that moment, but also in you allowing for that vulnerability that then created this connection with the other people in the room, and that it's just that energy that goes out. And it just brings in that ability for other people to give themselves permission to allow for that softening. So
Yeah, and it's almost like it's for whatever reason, and I'm not gonna even try to unpack that right now, but there's this ideology of like it's not safe to be me, you know, and maybe it is the weaving where it's you know, as children we're told to like, oh, we don't say that this way, or it doesn't matter, it's that weaving where it's the layers or however, and then you pull away one of the threads and it slightly alters the weaving or the color or the design or the shape of the tapestry that is you. And I just find it fascinating that a lot of us have shown up, you know, and we have these moments in our time where we're just like, who am I? Who am I? Yeah, and it's just it's curious. So it's like asking that question, kind of let's go there. So like the power behind the center. How do we like what does that mean? Like what power do we hold? Or do we have the opportunity to connect with?
I think that in the more that we can allow for an openness and receptivity, and I think there has to be we have choice. We have free will. This is not something that everyone will want to do. But if you are at this point of perhaps maybe you're thinking there has to be more than this, or there has to be a way for me to be happy, or something, I feel like I'm being called to something, or just there are these questions that you're having, and you're really being guided by perhaps your higher self or your angels for this deeper questioning. It's this invitation to go within. And that is because just like when we start in the beginning with placing our hand over our heart and just feeling into that heartbeat, if you think of the center from before, and the even just with chanting and mantras, coming back to these primordial sounds of Om, for example, the sound of the universe, these sounds and these vibrations, the essence of our being, of light, of sound, there is a calling, a hearkening back to that center, because that is our true essence. I'm trying to there is much to be said about how empowered we can be when we allow ourselves to be guided, when we relinquish this illusion of control. And to do that, we have to be open to at least entertain the idea that with that, this is an illusion of separation that is keeping us rigid in our grip, right? So there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of guilt, and there's shame, and anger, and we can become attached and wanting to control, and it's this slippery slope. And I believe it's because we're not allowing for ourselves to feel into the loving, infinite, eternal source that is with you, that is with us, that we are all a part of. It's this unity consciousness, however you want to call this thing that is greater than you. But it really is, it takes it's a choice. It's a choice of what you're choosing to believe. And even if it's many, many times during the day that you're consciously even saying out loud, I trust, I trust, I trust. There is a relinquishing of the control, a surrendering. That's a whole nother topic. and trusting that you are guided, and it really has to come from the heart. It has to come from the heart, and it has to be this directing of your attention and awareness and your consciousness within. I believe that's where the power is. There is so much power within our heart consciousness, and I do believe that this is a time where even just the two of us speaking today is an example of how those who are sharing this harmonic resonance and are able to just through this sacred vessel of expression be bringing these words out into the collective consciousness, right? And to be unifying in this way, and this is so beautiful that we even have the freedom, the opportunity to be speaking these truths without that fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without the fear, not and without judgment. And to just let it go and to trust. And it has so much power. It has so much power.
It is choosing to come from a place of love instead of a place of fear. I think I'm gonna pause right there as we take a quick break, and we will continue on that thread when we come back. Welcome back. So this is Tonia once again with the Alchemy of Me, and I'm here with Miss Jessica Lang, and we just have a few more minutes left. No surprise that we just started scratching the surface with what we were hoping to cover today. So stay tuned for our next hour of fun together in 2 weeks. In the meantime, so between now and then, though, if Jess, you could just take a moment. So Easter was on Sunday, and the eclipse is coming up here on the 8th. So we're kind of anchored here right in the center of what feels like an opportunity to really center into our power. Is there anything you can kind of share here in this linear time for us in this place we are right now?
Absolutely. I would love that. And of course, I just love that when we picked the date for the show, it was not really present in my awareness that the show was going to be literally right in between Easter and the solar eclipse. But of course, we were guided. And I think it's so important, again, coming to the center in this present moment two light-centric events. And we've been talking about the power of the center, and light consciousness, God consciousness is at the center, and the power of that light. And so coming from Easter, and then on the solar eclipse is a really special time where we are really invited to choose to presence within. And in that absence of light in the external, to really bring our awareness within, bring our consciousness within, and to choose to see the light that we hold within, and to bear the light that we hold within into this space time. And so again, it's just makes perfect spirit weaving there that this conversation is happening right before then. So if it's okay with you, I thought it might be nice to share a transmission that came through to me that I wrote down on Easter Sunday that I think might be good to share.
Please.
Okay. Peace is ours as we presence in this moment with the ever-living God. This union, sacred and whole, is now and shall be forevermore, by virtue of the very essence of our soul, light, of one spirit, one consciousness. We are, you are, I am. We choose to unite our awareness, our consciousness with life-giving breath, in with grateful recognition for this, our earthen temple, from matter, mother formed, presence within, with courage, with trust, with grace. Here in faith, may we experience truth. May we invite the very sacred waters of our being to merge with the light of our essence. May we stand in the light and know the mystery of creation is expressed through our being. To choose this presence is to choose life, beautiful, harmonious, joyfully dynamic, abundantly fertile, boundlessly expansive, infinitely loving.
That was very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Is there, let's see, I'm going to check the time. Oh, we have a few more minutes left. So from there, Jess, what can we unpack that for like 2 minutes? Like, what is, like, if you were to cliff notes that, sure. What, yeah, I guess how could, I mean, I feel it. So like the words to me, the words are beautiful, but it was how I felt it to me is where the power is. And so I guess from there, if the words are important to others, like what words would you pull out?
I think maybe bringing an awareness to this, our earthen temple, and from matter, mother formed, and seeing the visual of the light and the water, and really just if you can just bring into mind your earthen temple, this sacred temple, as a seed. One of the two-dimensional references for circle and center that we did not go into today is also the Vesica Pisces, which is formed from the two discs that are merging. Looks like a Venn diagram from our school days, and it creates that that very special shape right in the center, which is the seed of life. And so I think it would be wonderful to think of your earthen temple created from the mother as the seed, and to think of how you can both nurture and protect that divine blueprint inside all of those seeds that you hold within this earthen temple, and that nourishment that you can offer by allowing for these life-giving waters and this life-giving air and bringing into that harmony within you, that balance of the light and the water. And those are the powers that can nourish these seeds. And again, it's all coming to center, bringing all of your awareness and loving intention to the center, and just trusting and being open to receiving guidance, because you will. If you're coming to your heart and you're coming into that stillness, you will be guided.
Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. You are not alone.
Yes.
Never.
Nope.
Well, thank you, Jess, for being here. Thank you so much for creating this sacred container where we got to explore some pretty amazing things. And I am so excited to continue this conversation in 2 weeks. So if this resonated with you, join us again 2 weeks from today at the same time, where we'll just continue to weave from here. And in closing, Jess, is there any, let people know how they can one more time get in contact with you.
Sure. Thank you so much again for inviting me onto the show. And I really look forward to continuing the conversation. If anyone wants to reach out, you can email me. It's jessica@cacaomoonalign.com. You can also find me on Instagram. It's Believe, Lead, Empower, with a period after each word.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jessica. And just a opportunity perhaps for some deeper exploration between now and the next time we reconvene is just looking for an opportunity for, it's the kind of the what if. So I'm gonna close with this. What if we allowed more light into our life? What if we allowed more love into our lives? What if we loved each other even more? So I will end with that, my lovely brothers and sisters, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for listening to The Alchemy of Me, where we navigate the anatomy of humanity through the lens of science and spirituality. For more mind-body energy medicine concepts, tools, and practices to nourish the seeds, the light, the fire, that gold of intelligence that is you, tune in every first and third Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on transformationtalkradio.com. For more information about me and my work, please visit toniajohnson.com. That's toniajohnson.com.